Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros MLB. Can you believe it? We're here. It's mock draft time. It's me, Joey P. Joe Pisapia. With me, of course, back from the dead is the Welsh. He has been sick all holiday season, but it's a new year, and we're going to give it a shot. Try to put him on a show here. It's our first mock draft of 2026. That's how you know we've turned the page here at Fantasy Pros from all the football stuff to all the baseball stuff. But of course, we're on our baseball channel on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to Fantasy Pros MLB. And just like the last season of Stranger Things, somebody here sounds a little bit like Vecna. So Welsh, why don't you show everybody the deep, dark, scary voice that you've brought with you from this awful flu you've been battling for 2 weeks?
Oogly boogly. Yes, I don't sound quite as Welshish, so hopefully it's not fingernails on a chalkboard. This will actually be like the most self-conscious I will ever be on a show because I know I sound weird and people are gonna be like, what the hell? I have been knocked down sick. Me and Joe have been talking about it. We don't miss shows. I've missed some shows, but can't keep me away from mock drafts. So
that's right. Can't keep them away from mock drafts. Can't do that. And today we got a fun mock draft for you. We're doing head-to-head roto categories. We're going to do standard 5x5, right? So we're going to have your home runs, your RBIs, your stolen bases, your batting average, run scored. We're going to have the wins, old school style, ERA, whip, saves, and
what do you mean
Welsh's voice is bigger.
Old school style? You just said
5x5, not the OBP. Instead of the batting
that's
average,
not old school style, though, dude. That's like
old school style.
No, that's standard fantasy baseball.
Standard
like
old school.
No, when you're too cool for school, you're like, listen, I can't do average and I can't do ERA. Like that's fine, but standard fantasy baseball is ERA
5
and
by
average,
5,
not
and
old
strikeouts
people.
Being the fifth category, so we're standard. But Welsh, before we do this big mock draft, like in Stranger Things, I do want to tell you something very important. I got to get off my chest.
All right,
I don't like closers. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I don't like closers.
Wait,
Even
you
in
became
2026.
you became the kid from what was it, the Bruce Willis movie? Like, I don't like closers.
Well, it's kind of like, everyone's going to be listening to this saying the same thing, which is, yeah, Joe, we already knew that. Just like they did in Stranger Things. All right. So we're going to go through here. We've got catcher, first base, second base, third base, shortstop, corner spots. We got 3 outfielders because we don't want Welsh to die during the show. So we're going to try to keep it a little shorter today. We got ourselves 2 utility spots, 9 open pitcher spots. So we're going to go ahead and rock and roll this bad boy. And of course, we want everybody to join in on the mock draft fun. We'll be using the draft simulator here from Draft Wizard, which you can obviously get in that mock draft lobby right now. It's fun. It's free. It's easy. Go to fantasypros.com/MLB draft wizard so you can start your simulations because, hey, you might still be off from the holidays and you're sitting around with a little time on your hands. Never too early to start working.
Maybe you were sick. Maybe you were sick for like 10 days and you got to have something to do. Mock draft.
Maybe. All right. Welsh is going to draft from the 12 spots. So we only have to hear him once per round talking about each of his players. I'm going to draft from the 5th spot here and we'll see how things unfold. Welsh, I have specifically not done any mocks yet. I wanted to come into this one with a fresh perspective. I know we've got some guys that haven't signed yet. I don't care. I love fantasy baseball. You love fantasy baseball. So have you, you haven't seen the light of day. I assume you haven't done any mock drafts either.
No, I did like a really way too early mock draft, but I've spent all that time writing, analysis, research, all that type of stuff. Not application. It's application time now, and I'm ready for it.
It's application time. All right, First couple picks off the board. Judge goes 1, Ohtani goes 2, Bobby Witt Jr., Juan Soto. I took José Ramírez at 3. Still love José Ramírez. He gives you power. He gives you speed. Third base is crap every single year. 30-44. Nobody talks about José Ramírez enough, I don't think. Like everyone talks about Aaron Judge, and they should. And Ohtani obviously is the god of all baseball. But José Ramírez, man, just keeps plugging along every single year. He's going to be 33 years old this year. Still love Ramírez. Still loves what he brings. And at a premium position. Next up, Ronald Acuna. Early. No discounts on Ronald Acuna this year, boys and girls. 106. Corbin Carroll, 107. Paul Skeens at 108. Tariq Skubal to get the back-to-back pitchers in round 1. Ellie De La Cruz goes at 110. Julio Rodriguez at 111. Welsh, you're up for 2 picks. Talk us through.
All right, Gunnar Henderson dropping to the... It's actually kind of tough on the wheel. There's a lot of good spots. You want to take one of those pitchers. Garrett Crochet was still floating out there. I don't believe... Did the other guys go? Yeah, Skubal and Skeens win. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, first round.
Yeah, so if you wanted to
do
much
that... Dayquil for the Welsh here.
Yeah, 100%, literally. Tatis was out there, but this is a spot I wanted to cover that infield. Gunnar Henderson is just like a poor man's Bobby Witt. Power was down a little bit last year. I think that's going to improve. There's more support in the offense with Pete Alonso from the run perspective. I still love Gunnar Henderson. All the peripherals are there. He's a great pick at 12. And then, kind of shocking, I'm going to take a 40-plus home run young hitter at one of the worst positions in fantasy and Junior Caminero. So I just locked up two of my infield spots, tons of power, some stolen bases, average is middling. This is like ideal start type of stuff. I did think about Tatis. I did think about a couple other players, but a Gunnar Caminero 1-2 punch, mwah, makes me feel better good. Already.
There you go. You know, Caminero's my guy. I know you're on the clock right now. So after Caminero, you get Fernando Tatis Jr. going at the 202, Garrett Crochet, Francisco Lindor, Cal Raleigh at 205. Nice discount there. After a monstrous season, 60-plus homers. Vlad Guerrero Jr., Yordan Alvarez, and I took Ketel Marte, your boy, Welsh. Marte, another position premium guy, your second base. Because we're only doing the 3 outfielders in this one. I'm going to wait on outfield. We'll see if it works out for me. It probably won't. We'll see. Ketel Marte, though, 28 homers last year, hit 283. Could be on the move still. A lot of rumors floating around that he could be traded. Then you have Freddie Freeman, Nick Kurtz going next. I almost took my boy Nick Kurtz, but instead I went to Marte. Kyle Tucker, still a free agent as of recording this. Then Jackson Chourio to end the second round. To begin the third round, Pete Alonso. Welsh has 14 seconds left on the clock for his first pick here. 301, Pete Alonso, Jazz Chisholm, Rafael Devers, Matt Olson. And then I have a feeling that some aces are going to fly here before it gets back around to me. So I took Yoshinobu Yamamoto after an incredible postseason. I mean, just otherworldly. Obviously, we know how great the Dodgers are going to be again this year. No surprise there. But last season, brilliant for him. 200 strikeouts, just 40 plus walks there. And, you know, a guy who is, look, through 173 innings last year. That's what we wanted to see. We wanted to see that innings total pop up there for Yamamoto. Let's talk about these next couple picks here going up to Welsh. We have Christopher Sanchez, then Bryce Harper, Pete Crow Armstrong, who had a great first half, fell apart quite a bit in the second half, not to mention the lefties numbers so bad against left-handed pitching last year. We'll dig more into that in the shows ahead. Brent Rooker at 309, Chris Sale, another ace off the board, Trey Turner 311, then Welsh, you're up for 2 picks, and you went power in terms of home runs and power in terms of pitching.
Yes. Kyle Schwarber, phenomenal third, fourth round pick. I just got 2 40-plus home run hitters. Batting average is a little bit of a question. I think I can make that up in other spots, but, you know, Schwarber's covering me in 3 great categories. This format you set up, we have like 2 util. Didn't really matter to me. He also kind of qualified at outfield in this. Great third round pick. And then Jacob deGrom. I think Jacob deGrom's in that top 10 SP tier. He backed off a little bit on some of his stuff, started throwing, I think, that changeup a little bit more, dialed it back, stayed healthy. I think this is a great spot for him. There's still some other pitchers I like, but as you kind of said, I wanted to go big. I wanted big categorical stuff because, you know, this 12-man, I think I'm going to be able to take advantage of some other spots a little bit later. So, I mean, high power, 1 SP in the top 4 rounds. This is like ideal building for my team construction.
All right, as we recap the 4th round, let's take a quick break to recognize our sponsor, and that's Hard Rock Bet, Florida's own sportsbook. That's right, and they are the official sportsbook partner of Florida teams like the Jaguars, the Buccaneers, the Heat, the Magic, and the Panthers. And of course, we've got NFL heating up as well. We've got college football playoffs, some upset last night too, as well as we're recording this here on a Friday afternoon. So things are rock and rolling in the world of sports right now, and there's no better place to get involved in it than with Hard Rock Bet. So download the app today, whether it's NBA, you want to make a parlay with NFL or college football, put some things together, have some fun. You bet $5, you get 150 in bonus bets, plus your winnings at Hard Rock Bet for new customers. And Hard Rock Bet is the only legal sports book in the state of Florida. It's also live in Arizona, Ohio, New Jersey, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, Illinois, Colorado, and Michigan, and coming soon to more states near you. Plus, Hard Rock Bet offers new promos every single day. So whenever you're listening, just open up the app and boom, check it out again. But you can only check it out if you download Hard Rock Bet. All right, we are going to power through here for the next couple picks. We've got Jacob deGrom going to the Welsh, then a couple more pitchers. As I suspected, Hunter Brown, Brian Wu, Roman Anthony goes next at 404. I was hoping Anthony would make it to me. He did not. That's okay. Well, you know, men of many disappointments here. That's going to happen in the 2026 season. Logan Webb, then we have Mookie Betts, Mason Miller. Mookie Betts falling all the way to the 4th round, Welsh. What do you think of that? Do you think that's going to be something we're going to see a lot of, or will that change as we get closer to draft season?
No, I think that's going to be the new trend. If anything, he might fall even further at this point. Like, Yeah, positionally, he's only shortstop this year. We kind of saw a degradation of his overall skill set. Power was down, speed was down, average was down. So unless, you're going to, think that like the beginning of that year, that sickness that he had just carried the whole year and it was a fluke, then maybe he'll go up. I just don't see any scenario where he's going higher than the 4th or 5th round. So this is the new norm for him.
All right, so the new norm, we'll see how that shakes out. A lot of new norms here. Manny Machado goes next, then Logan Gilbert, Zach Neto, Hunter Green wrapping up the 4th round. Starting the 5th round, CJ Abrams, Jaron Duran, Wyatt Langford at 503, Riley Green at 504. I went back and forth. I ended up taking James Wood at 408. So I was contemplating Green and Langford, and I decided to go with James Wood. I like the power speed combination of Wood a little bit more. I just trust him a little bit more than Langford, but I would not be shocked if Langford has that breakout year, which now brings us to an interesting situation here. I kind of have my pick of a bunch of different pitchers that are still on there. George Kirby's on this list here. Spencer Schwellenbach returning from injury on this list. Joe Ryan, Cole Reagans, lots of options here. Welsh, I'm going to go ahead and take another pitcher. I'm going to take George Kirby here and have my 1-2 punch here at the rotation being George Kirby, Yamamoto, and I like that start here for the pitchers. So Jose Ramirez, Ketel Marte, Yamamoto, James Wood, Kirby for me. I like this. I like this is going. Now, typical Welsh draft is he likes it, then he hates it, then he loves it. So we'll see if that trend continues year over year. Blake Snell goes next at 506. Then Perdomo, Edwin Diaz, a second closer here off the board. Cole Reagans at 509. Alex Bregman, still a free agent at 510. Then Max Fried. Welsh, you're up for 2 picks here at the turn 5-6.
So I'm looking at a couple different things here. I'm trying to focus in on my actual build, and there is a guy that just is screaming my build, though he's not 100% mine. But you know what? I'm gonna take him. I'm gonna go with this. One guy I'm gonna take him with the next pick. The what? Oh,
I said I was just excited that you're alive.
We are. You confused the hell out of me. We are gonna go with. All right, I'm gonna do this. Bryce Terang. Bryce Terang is not like a big me guy, but he improved his bat to ball skills. Power was up. Batting average. That's another big thing that I'm looking for here because I've gotten a couple big power guys with some speed, and second base can get a little bit wonky. So I'm going to jump in on him, maybe even a tad early than I want. And I'm going to go with I'm waffling right now.
He's whiffling.
All right, I'm going to take this guy that I want. I want the buyback on Spencer Schwellenbach. You guys know I'm a huge Schwelly.
I'm not shocked by that.
I'm a Schwelly Baki, and I got to get my buyback on him to get those innings.
All right, so we like that here. So the Schwellenbach goes to the Welsh. Andres Munoz, then Jackson Merrill at 603. This is a guy going late 2nd round last year. Big difference in ADP this year. Austin Riley, Corey Seager, Dylan Cease, George Springer. Now it goes to me. Let's see who's in my queue. I have a sneaking suspicion, Welsh, that Cody Bellinger is going to re-sign with the New York Yankees, and he is just tailor-made for that ballpark. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Cody Bellinger here, stick him at first base, and I got my first baseman, I got my third baseman, I got second base done, outfield done. We have, he didn't make it back to me. I was hoping he would. He didn't. Damn it. All right, Cody Bellinger, then Freddie Peralta, Framber Valdez, Cade Smith, Johan Duran, goes. Then William Contreras to start the 7th round here. Next up after that, Joe Ryan at 702, Josh Naylor, who I was debating and I was hoping Spencer Strider would make it back to me. He did not. That's a bummer. Jeremy Hefner, I read a piece talking about Strider that said, really for him, it wasn't, in terms of health or things like that. When he watched Strider, he saw some mechanical things that were off with him, and he thinks that they're easy to fix, and he thinks Strider's going to have a huge season. I love that Hefner's there. I think he did a great job with the Mets for those years. What are your thoughts on Hefner getting things right here and getting Strider back on track?
Yeah, I hope they're right about that. I think we've seen the stuff before. He was coming off of an injury, so I don't think it's out of the question that there's going to be a big bounce back, and also maybe why the team wasn't insanely aggressive in free agency. They're getting returns. They're getting Strider, maybe a full season return back. They're getting Schwellenbach. So I buy it. I think he's a great buyback option, and he has top 5 SP stuff, and you're getting him in the 7th, 6th round. I'm into that. I'm totally going to be as an SP 2 or 3 on Strider this year.
All right. So after Strider goes, I'm on the clock here, and I'm going to take BPA here. I'm hoping there's another pitcher there that I really like, but I'm going to take Seiya Suzuki. Really steady season for him. So I've got a second outfielder there. I can also flex him over to the utility spot as well. Coming off a season where he had 32 homers, 103 RBI. Batting average dipped a little bit from 283 to 245, but the previous year, he was at 285 in 2023 as well. So I'm hoping that batting average bounces back a little bit, but I'll give up a little bit of the batting average to get the 30 bombs. I'm a piece with that. I don't know if everyone else is. David Bednar goes next at 706, and Jesus Luzardo at 707. Shea Langoliers, Sonny Gray, Bo Bichette at 710. Yandy Diaz goes to the team 11 here, and then Welsh, you are on the clock.
All right, we are going to tap two easy picks here. One is risky, one is not. The first one is Ben Rice. I am in love with Ben Rice. It does not matter if it is a two or single catcher league. In this instance, he's as good enough to be a player that you can just play at first, even though the extra value is at catcher. Unreal Savant page, if you want to look at like the underlying skills just in general for him. Statistically, the guy, could easily on a full season be a 30 home run player, 26 homers this past year, 255 average. I love him. I'll put him in either spot. The other one, this is a throwback, Joe, and you're going to probably chastise me for it. Byron Buxton. We're going to go Byron Buxton in here. Bucky had the return season, the season that we all loved about him. 35 homers, 24 stolen bases, a 264 average, health, and he did it all in 126 games. Ridiculous numbers. You are buying a little bit into like what he produced last year, but I think it's worth it, especially in this type of format of what we're doing. So I have got loud counting stat skills right now.
No, definitely do. Byron Buxton out there. It's funny, all those years of Welsh pounding the table for Byron Buxton, all those years of being disappointed, and then last year, him having the season. I don't know. Now that you're back in on him, I think everybody else should be very afraid.
You should be worried. You should move away.
Brandon Nimmo finds himself in Texas, finds himself going at 802, then Nick Pivetta at 803. Nice value there. Do you think Pivetta can repeat what he did last season in that breakout?
Yeah, I think that's a possibility. I mean, it's a friendly ballpark. I feel like we still haven't seen the Padres' big move that they're going to make and when they're going to deconstruct this roster, if there's going to be even more offensive support. But I don't see any reason why that he can't come in and be a repeat.
All right, so after Pivetta goes Michael Garcia at 804, then Hunter Goodman, Christian Yelich, Zach Wheeler at 807, which again, I'm surprised about this. We'll see. We'll see as time goes on. I'm very afraid of this thoracic outlet syndrome stuff. Now, I know it's a different version. This is a version that is a little bit easier to treat, but we've seen so many great careers give way to this over the seasons. And look, Zach Wheeler, already a guy who has said that, he's going to finish up his contract and walk away. He's 35 years old, so we'll see. Instead, I was going with the young pitcher at 808 anyway, in Nolan McLean. I've seen a lot of fastballs in my life and a lot of pitches in my life. The movement this guy's got on the balls that he throws is unbelievable. He had a 2.06 ERA last year, 57 strikeouts in just 48 innings and 8 games. He was terrific in the minor leagues for the Mets. To me, I think he is that dude. He is that guy that's going to catapult into frontline status. And to have him as my third guy, I think is perfect. Like, he's got all the upside to give me some number one starts. I think there'll be times too where, he'll be a young kid, he'll be quote unquote rookie, and he'll probably fall back a little bit sometimes, and that's fair. But as my third pitcher, I can live with that. You were saying about Nolan McCain. I want you to expand on that.
Oh, yeah. Well, first off, the Zach Wheeler is not a good pick. He should not be going there. He should be going a lot later. But I was scrolling around, and I'm like, what the hell is Nolan McClain? I'm like, I need to pick him up. And then I realized you took him. He's been my guy. If you've been watching any of the early shows that we've been doing, even back to the live show that we did out here in Arizona with Joe Rico, and we had all the great guests, we highlighted a couple of our must-haves, and you guys know I picked Nolan McClain. This is my guy. I hate the rise in cost, though, because it is depreciating his value. There's no doubt about that, because where you can have some bumps and bruises, he's starting to get into a range where, he is going to have to be a top 15 pitcher to recoup his value. But he had no bumps last year, a 2 ERA. I've noted this multiple times. 6 of his pitches were 100 or higher stuff plus, and I believe it was his curveball, would have ranked as the highest stuff plus pitch of that pitch in all of baseball had he qualified. I think he's a unicorn. He spins the ball great. He controls great. I love this guy. And, there still is room to grow. you just want to, with those young pitchers like that, you would just love to like get him around 110 and then him recoup a top 50 value instead of taking him at 80 or 70 and him having to do that. And that's where things are moving with him. He is the hottest rising pitching prospect out there right now.
Yeah, and look, it's going to be because he plays in New York, so there's going to get a ton of media attention. It's just what it is. My full write-up, by the way, on Noel McLean is available in the Fantasy Black Book on Amazon. You can pick it up. Welsh's 100 top prospects are in there if you're playing dynasty leagues or even just in redraft now. He did all the profiles in the infield. Joe Rico worked on that with him, and I, of course, did all the pitching there. Kelly Kirby, our own Kelly Kirby, the wonky penguin herself, did all the outfield profiles. Casey Bubba, contributor as well with the relievers and catchers. So if you're looking for like the ultimate guide, go check it out on Amazon again right now. Fantasy Baseball Black Book 2026. So after Noel McLean, we got Nathan Eovaldi, then Michael Harris, Yuri Perez at 8-11. If I didn't get McLean, I would have gone Yuri Perez, just so everybody knows. So these guys, if they're going close together, that's my wheelhouse. Those two guys in the 8th round, yes, please. Ian Happ then closes out round 8, starting in round 9. Look at us, we're flying. Pablo Lopez goes. Kyle Stowers, nice value. I was hoping he made it back to me.
Yeah, me too.
I really wanted Stowers. He came off a great season there. 25 homers for him, 5 steals, 288 batting average for the Marlins. Then we had Soderstrom, Vinny Pasquantino, which puts me up next. Now, I don't know where this next guy is going to land, but I just want the power, and I can have him play in the utility spot. So Eugenio Suarez coming off a monstrous power season. Wherever he goes, he's going to hit home runs, and he's going to hit home runs for me. 49 last year, so pretty good year for Suarez. What do you make of last year for Suarez, Welsh?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of talked about it a lot. Like, he was phenomenal with the Diamondbacks, and then he ends up getting traded, and he stunk in Seattle. I mean, he hit some homers, but he hit under 200 like that, and usually you see the opposite trend where he kind of fades in the second half, or I'm sorry, starts off slow and then is great. And then he kind of did the opposite. So I'm okay with Eugenio Suarez. You want to chase for power, it's all good. But the destination is going to be kind of important here.
Yes, I do want to chase for power, and I did. And I'm very capable and happy of doing that. Bradish goes next at 906, so an interesting rebound for him. He came back last year and started to look a little bit more like himself, so that's good after a long season of being hurt. Jeremy Pena at 907, that was the other guy I was going back and forth on. Pena had a nice season too, but unfortunately injury derailed him. Aroldis Chapman, Sandy Alcantara, Randy Arozarena, then at 911, Gleyber Torres, which pushed the Welsh up for the end of the 9th, beginning of the 10th.
All right, and I am up. We've got to unpause it so I can make my picks, but once we do, I am looking at, I know you hate closers. I don't hate closers as much as you do. If we were in an NFBC format, we would be, a lot of these guys would not be here. In the higher dollar chased, drafts, these guys are not going to be around. In more consumer drafts, in the 10th round, these guys are available. So I'm probably going to jump in on one of those guys. And then I'm looking at pitching. I got quite a few young arms. I mean, you say, Nolan McLean, because he's in New York, is one of the reasons he went. How about Cam Schlittler? He's still sitting out there. Yeah. You've got Chase Burns, Trey Savage. I mean, there's even a couple veterans out there. So
I like McLean more than all of those guys.
I mean, I do too.
From what I've seen and from what all the data suggests as well, Schlittler to me is the second most intriguing. And that was the guy that if I didn't get McLean, like even this when I took Suarez, Schlittler was kind of in my queue and on that board for me.
So what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to double tap SP, even though I just said I like relief pitching. Just kidding. I'm going to go with two young arms that I really like. I'm going to go with high strikeouts and Chase Burns. And I'm going to tap him with Emmett Sheehan. Emmett Sheehan is a guy I've been talking about that I want to own in every spot. I know he's been in some trade rumors, but I think he's going to be at the forefront of that rotation for the Dodgers. Lots of wins. So I love these two young pitchers. Probably going to take me out of the if Schlittler were to be available or Bubba Chandler space, because I'm going to probably go veterans after that.
All right. Good spot there for the Welsh. All right. And one of the things I love too is you get an opportunity here when you're using the software to look at the categories list and you could see where you are, where you're behind in terms of what's going on here. So obviously for this scenario here, okay, where am I? Like I obviously don't have any closers left, so I'm not doing well in saves, but in terms of strikeouts, I'm in a pretty good spot there. In terms of home runs and RBI, I'm in a good spot. I think Welsh is getting me sick on this show.
Like, what's going on? I'm the one that's
on.
sick. You're like dying on this episode.
I am dying on this show. I don't know why. It's like the third show of the day. So maybe I'm just getting tired. I don't know. But, you're in Arizona. If you get me sick in New Jersey, I'm not having that.
That would be amazing. Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, listen, I'm sitting here. I don't know if I'm sweating because of this draft or because of my sickness here, but I'm invested. So let's get you locked in.
All right, let's get locked in here. I could go for a closer here. Certainly in that I'm behind on runs too. I got to make up that ground as well. So I got to be looking around there. A guy like Stephen Kwan helped me out there. He gives me some stolen bases as well. Marseille, also an interesting guy there. I think I'm going to lean towards Kwan and continue to punt relief pitching down the road and see maybe in the next round if I can scoop one up there. So that would give me basically that full outfield already. He would end up with my utility spot there. So we'll see how that shakes out here. So I'm just waiting for the draft to unpause and make that pick. In terms of some of the free agent movement too, Welsh, just out of curiosity, are you surprised that we're still waiting as of January 2nd for real Tucker news?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit, but I feel like we've also done this year after year with baseball. We're like, aren't we surprised this guy has not signed? There's compensatory stuff sometimes that's going on. I mean, Tucker's in a world of his own though. So that is the weird one. Maybe, and this happens, they just said, let's get through the holidays. Let's get out of it and let's focus on it. It seems like he's going to be a Toronto Blue Jay though. But of his magnitude, it is slightly surprising that he hasn't signed. Him and the Cattell thing, those need to rectify themselves, and then the market's going to move because Bregman hasn't gone, Bichette hasn't gone, and I think everybody's being held up by the potential trading of Ketel Marte and then Kyle Tucker just being off the board. Because if Toronto doesn't get Kyle Tucker, they might be more in on a guy like Alex Bregman or obviously a return of Bo Bichette.
All right. So it did work. I did wait, and I got a closer, so I'm happy boy. So Stephen Kwan goes to me, then O'Neill Cruz goes next. Kevin Gossman at 10-10, Mackenzie Gore at 10-11, Jackson Holiday at 10-12, Teoscar Hernandez, then begins the 11th round, Mark Vientos, Cam Schlittler at 11-03, Trevor Story at 11-04, Josh Hader to me at 11-05, then Michael King re-signing with the San Diego Padres there, coming off an injured, incomplete kind of season for King, so hopefully he is healthy in 2026. Trevor Rogers, what an incredible season for him, going at 11-07, then Michael Busch at 11-08, Jose Soriano at 11:09. Then we have Helsley Altuve going all the way to the Welsh, who is on the clock and finally takes a closer.
Yeah, I mean, I missed my opportunity to get one of the like super cool dudes, but I got Carlos Estevez. The Royals want to compete. He's going to get all the save opportunities. He's not in any type of like, worrisome share. That's Raisel Iglesias is still floating out there, and a lot of people could be screaming like, take him, take him. I'm legit worried because Suarez signed there. And I know they said that Iglesias is the guy. I just think that's thin ice. And a guy like Suarez can come in and take those opportunities. So, I think those guys are close. So I'm going to take a guy that is just unfeathered by any other player around him in Carlos Estevez. So I locked up him. And then one of my favorite players, Jacob Marcy. Nice. Lots of batting average. There's some power potential. Steamer had projected him in like the top 4 or 5 in stolen bases. So I think he fits my team build. Again, if I'm looking at having guys like, Schwarber and Junior Caminero and Ben Rice, picking up a little bit more batting average of stolen bases makes a lot of sense in Marcy.
All right. So after that selection here of Jacob Marcy, Trey Savage goes 12-02. Raisel Iglesias goes. Willie Adames, then Nico Horner, Ozzy Albies, Luis Castillo. Then at 12:08, I took Jacob Wilson to help with that batting average. 313 mark last year. Also had 13 home runs. And I continue to think that Athletics team makes progress in 2026. Robbie Ray goes at 12:09. Agustin Ramirez at 12:10. Brandon Woodruff at 12:11. And Shane Bieber closing out the 12th round. Beginning the 13th round, Ranger Suarez, then Andy Pajes. Suarez still a free agent too. A really good pitcher. Somebody better scoop him up, man. He is way too long out there. Drake Baldwin goes at 13:03. Sal Perez. Then I took Nick Lodolo at 13:05. I think Lodolo's finally starting to put it together and become the pitcher we all hope him to be. Front of that rotation with Hunter Green. That's a really good spot for him to be. And I think the Reds are going to be a force to be reckoned with again this year. Emilio Pagan goes at 13:06. Tanner Bybee. Then Matt Chapman at 13:08. Yusei Kikuchi, 13:09. Keyshaw at 13:10. Jacob Mizorowski right before the Welsh. I don't know if you care or not, but then Welsh goes ahead and does something I can't believe. Your 1401 pick, Welsh. Let's talk about these.
Oh, my 1401, I took Zach Gallen.
You took Zach Gallen? The guy who just railed for an entire 2025 season against Zach Gallen took Zach Gallen?
Yeah, but Zach Gallen also had an absolutely incredible end of the season. His final 8 starts were Gallen-esque. He looked like he had refound himself, and that's what I'm all about. Now, he's not going to go back to the Diamondbacks. I would say the Cubs are a likely destination, which I think that's a nice environment for him to pitch in. I think Zach Gallen's just a good buy at this point. He's like an SP 5 or 6. So I jumped on Gallen. I also jumped on a buyback of Lawrence Butler. Kind of regretting that a little bit because, well, frankly, first mock of the season, I passed up on, and I think he went after Joe Adell, which all the power in the world. I want to buy in Joe Adell. There's also a couple other guys like Luis Robert were out there. So there's a bunch of those similar players, but I don't know. Butler's a 2020 guy. It's still a baby minor league ballpark. So I wanted to kind of buy back in on that, but that one was a little dicey. Gallen really wasn't, especially with the SPs that were around. Steele's hurt. Imanaga's a question. Bubba Chandler's got a lot of upside, but I think Gallen can be a workhorse, absolute workhorse. If you look at his whole season or only listen to me in the first half, you think he's trash. But if you listen in the second half, those last 8 starts, he was phenomenal. He really, really was.
It's going to be a huge year for buyback people, just bringing that up, guys like Adley Rutschman, who's still on the board right now.
Absolutely.
I'm looking at a lot of these guys on the board right now, and the buybacks of certain ones are just really interesting, like whether or not you want to go down that road. But man, it just feels like, you're going to have to take some leaps of faith in 2026 in fantasy baseball if you're going to make some headway here and find some guys, because there were a lot of down seasons for a lot of good players, and a lot of injuries also robbed people as well. All right, I need another closer, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do just that. Pete Fairbanks signed with the Miami Marlins, so he's going to be my next pick. Let me recap the rest in between. Will Smith and David Peterson at 1403, Pepio at 1404, Joe Adell at 1405, then Trevor McGill, Luis Robert. Boy, oh boy, Luis Robert. Are we ever going to get a good Luis Robert season again? I don't know. It would be nice to see. But let's take Pete Fairbanks here. So I got Fairbanks and Hader as my 2 closers. Then we have Gavin Williams, Marcus Semien, another potential bounce back. We'll see maybe a change of environment's good for him. Maybe they can fix some things mechanically with him. Kenley Jansen goes. Chandler Simpson, Luis Garcia. That's too early for Simpson, in my opinion, too. Yanir Diaz, Matthew Boyd, Adley Rutschman. There you go. Aforementioned Adley Rutschman.
Wait, you think Chandler Simpson in the 160s is
12? I do.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean,
league leader in stolen bases, high batting. I mean, he's empty in other spots, but there was a time we were talking he might be a top 100 pick.
Yeah, and I understand that. I get that. I hesitate. Like my problem is it's Tampa, and we all know Tampa likes to get cute, and we all know Tampa sometimes is going to start to make different moves that they shouldn't make, or this guy is not really giving us everything we need. So we'll let him play sparingly. It was very frustrating last year to watch that bounce around of him. And I think it's my concern of, are we ever going to get him in that spot? Like, are we going to get him as an everyday player? I know you don't have to get all the stolen bases, but it is a tough spot. Do you think it is okay?
I think he's in after. Okay, listen, I'm not saying like I'm going to take him in a lot of spots, but if you want to build up your average and you want to build up your stolen bases, and then you want to be adequate in runs, he's a 3 category player. He's an absolute nothing burger for homers and an absolute nothing burger for RBI. So you have to go in with that. Is that better for head to head or roto? I think you can have that in as a discussion point, but that's a guy that's going to lead the league, and I think he's got regular playing time. He hit well against both lefties and righties. So, I think if someone's chasing stolen bases, personally, I think he's going to go higher than he went in this. And I think his NFBC ADP was in the 140s, maybe. So this is like 20 spots lower than he was going in those like high dollar, more competitive leagues.
All right. Tough spot here. There's a couple pitchers I like on the board here as it comes back to me again. We are now in the 15th round, 1505. I think we're going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Bubba Chandler. And we'll see how that goes for me. Again, Bubba Chandler last year in the minor leagues struggled with control at times, but we know the strikeout upside is there. 31 strikeouts for him in 31 innings for the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're trying to help out a little bit with the lineup. I mean, these little fake ass, kind of moves that they're doing. Like, look before the Well, it is. It's like, let's sign, or Hearn and like, let's bring in some veteran guys, but it's convenient, right? They're going to do it right before next year where the labor agreement comes to an end. It's like, look, we're trying. Look at us. We're the Pittsburgh Pirates.
I mean, good for them for trying.
I guess. Good for them for trying. Noelvi Marte goes next. Shota Imanaga, then Brenton Doyle. After that, Nolan Chanel, Sedane Rafaela, and then Jack Flaherty. Welsh, you are on the clock for the 15th round to end.
All right, we're going to double tap, I think, some pitching here. And, God, I mean, the closer is going to be... Oops, I need to do that. I'm going to take Jeff Hoffman, Toronto closer. That one's pretty easy to get my second closer. The SP market is tough. Shane McClanahan is out there. Obviously, like, it was a disaster last year. I still just believe in him, and he's going to be healthy this year, but you're going up against, there's some good young pitching. I'm going to take him. I'm going to take Shane McClanahan as like just a buyback SP. Like we talked about before, really, really low, like, volatility when you take him this low. And there's a lot of talk that he's going to be healthy coming out of camp. And again, this is a guy that's been like a top, 15 SP. So at this stage, maybe if I have more information in spring, if we were doing this in like a month, maybe I'd feel different if he's not throwing or not doing anything. At this moment, I think I'm comfortable taking a stab at him.
Okay. And then after you took Jeff Hoffman, Shane McClanahan, Brian Reynolds goes, then Robert Suarez, Roki Sasaki at 1604. Do you think Roki Sasaki is in the rotation this year?
Oh, man. I don't know. I thought he was pretty good in the bullpen, but they brought in Edwin Diaz, so there's no need, for him to go into that spot. Doesn't mean they don't use him there.
I think he goes back to the rotation because
I think they're going to try at all costs for him to be in the rotation. But I mean, like, you have Ohtani, Snell, who am I forgetting? Glass now. You have Sheehan. Mm-hmm. I'm forgetting some. Yamamoto. That's already 5 right there. So then are you going to go to a 6-man rotation with Sasaki or put him in the bullpen? I don't know. That's one that, like, I'm okay taking him because, well, I was before the Edwin Diaz signing because he could get saves. Now that's out the window. I don't know. I'm probably like out until I hear exactly what it is, but I don't think the starting pitching possibilities are super great. And maybe he's an 8th inning guy because he was phenomenal in the bullpen, but I don't know.
Very tricky spot there. All right. So for me, after the selection of McClanahan again, it was Reynolds, Suarez, Roki, then Alec Burleson was hoping to get. He did not make it back to me. I was really hoping to be my first baseman there. He's going to be play there, the everyday role there now that Contreras was moved on in St. Louis. Then Carlos Rodon was going to start the season late, so that'll be an interesting draft stock to watch. Spencer Torkelson. Then I took Logan Henderson, one of my favorite guys from last year. So building up the young pitchers here. I got McClain, got Bubba Chandler, Logan Henderson. I'm going to need some veterans here for sure.
Our boy Derek Carty just released his first edition of the Bat and the Bat X projections on Fangraphs. Logan Henderson has got some pretty aggressive numbers. Yeah, like you don't usually see a lot of the young guys. He really popped. If people want to go take a look at that in Carty's project, I don't have him in front of me, but I was like, oh, okay, Logan Henderson.
That makes me happy. I mean, he had a phenomenal season last year. So I don't see, in terms of the minor leagues and what he flashed at the major leagues, but there just wasn't room at the inn. And I'll tell you what, I'll stick by this. Mizorowski is very exciting. I think he's an arm injury waiting to happen. And I think, Logan Henderson, I think at his ADP is a safer investment. Maybe not better, but I think safer potentially. All right, so let's continue on here. We've got Henderson to me, then Bryce Miller, Garrett Cole finally at 16-10. Then Palencia, 16-11. Christian Walker ends the 16th round. Then Matt Shaw begins the 17th. Abner Uribe, Andrew Abbott, Xavier Edwards. And looking around here for my team right now, I got a utility spot left to go. Looking around, I'm going to take Lyle from Washington to give me a little bit of everything there. Next up, Dansby Swanson. Then Brandon Lau, also in Pittsburgh. Again, one of the little nifty acquisitions there for the Pirates this offseason. Connor Griffin, speaking of the Pirates, 17.
That's what I just went, oh, okay.
Oh, well then, look at this.
That's not an out-of-pocket. That's not an out-of-pocket thing, because we're using the FantasyPros and the system and the bots are drafting with us. But that's not an out-of-pocket thing because if he's rising because of the talk that this team is going to give him a contract extension. If they give him a contract extension, we legitimately might see him up an opening day, and he will rocket up. So this is not crazy for him to go in like the 200s like this.
I think it's a little early, but again,
and I think it's not early, but it's
Churio
not
2 years
crazy.
ago, right? He got that extension and everybody just went in, and Churio struggled for a little bit. I mean, again, it's the major leagues. It's a little bit tougher. We all know that. just a tad. But Connor Griffin, an extraordinary talent we're going to be talking about a lot this season. Spencer Strider, Drew Rasmussen, then Dennis Santana. And then you took a guy right out of my queue, Addison Barger, to end the 17th round. And let's talk about Cade Horton in the 18th, which feels like a pretty good value there, Welsh.
Yeah, two great young guys. Addison Barger, pretty great season, over 20 homers, and then he just shined in the playoffs. Good home run potential, really, really good underlying metrics as far as the bat goes. There is the slight thought that he could end up becoming a little platoony. He could become like a Kerry Carpenter type, but I think he's going to be out there every day. And even if he is a Kerry Carpenter type, play him, on his best side. I really like taking him. And I think he's like appropriately ranked that you can take him and he can build up a lot of upside. So he's a guy that I want to have kind of like on every team because he's so low. And then, Cade Horton, ace potential in real life for his team, probably not fantasy ace potential, but you guys know like how great he was in a rookie of the year attempt. He was at the top. I kind of thought he was going to win it over Drake Baldwin. He didn't. To get him in the 200s to be like my SP, I don't even know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 6. I'm not going to do the thing, but right in that range. It's good value. I won't. Don't worry.
Don't ever do that ever.
Have you done that?
Not in a while, no.
But you've done it though?
I coach kids. So
how many days safe are you from doing the hand gesture?
A lot. I would say at least we're in to like almost a 30. I think it's dead. I think when adults started doing it, it died, which is
good. Well, that's what we were supposed to do. That was our job.
That's right. Our job was to kill that.
We killed the thing.
About it.
Yeah.
We killed the thing. We're not even going to say what the thing is because we don't want the thing to come back around. It's a new year. It's a fresh start. Let's not ruin things. It's good to be back here talking baseball too. Just want to say that for just feels right.
I'm sure everybody loves listening to me right now, but yeah, I agree.
I think you sound sexy. I
know.
All right. I definitely am in a tough spot here at first base. So Arise goes Kirk, then Herrera, Aaron Nola, Mike Trout. Look at that. Mike Trout still hanging on the 18th round. Brett Beatty goes next. And then it's to me here. I don't like a lot of these options I have at first base. I'm not going to lie here. Do I want to believe in what I saw to Andrew Vaughn in the second half of the season? Maybe. But I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to continue to wait and keep building out some other pieces here. Catcher right now, looking at what's available there. Kyle Teal, interesting guy. What are your thoughts on Samuel Basayo as well? Another guy that people have a lot of expectations for this year.
Yeah, I mean, the move of Pete Alonso creates a little bit of a situation because now Basayo's got to be a catcher or a DH. It could easily happen, but that's one more position off of where he could have potentially got some playing time. When Adley's on that team, you have to assume Adley is going to be the predominant catcher. So like what I'm getting at is like, I'm slightly worried that Basayo is going to be babied this season, that he's not going to get a full workload. So I don't think it's harm taking him where he is like around this general range, but I'm just not sure he's primed and set up to be like an every single day guy. And that might limit some of, consistency, and it's going to limit some of the production in general. Not to say that first base is the be all end all because the guy is a catcher and they used him as a catcher. If they were to move Adley, I mean, we got to skyrocket up, but I'm down with him. I think he's a decent value in this range.
All right. Well, I listened to that entire thing and I drafted Kyle Teal anyway. So
well, thank you so much.
So here we go. Brett Beatty went at 1807, then Bryson Stott at 1808. Imai off the board 1809. Actually, he should have been off the board, I think, a little sooner than that. Isaac Paredes, he recently just signed, by the way, with the Houston Astros, now teammate of Isaac Paredes. Tommy Edman, Merrill Kelly, Clay Holmes, two veterans back-to-back to end 18, start 19. Chase Meadroth, then Edward Cabrera, Dylan Cruz, Kyle Teal to me. So I just still got first base to figure out. Jonathan Aranda, Jose Caballero. Then we have Connolly Early, who had a nice finish to the season for the Red Sox. Santander, who is not anything close to what he was supposed to be for the Blue Jays last year. Gabriel Moreno, Mitch Keller, and then Welsh is on the clock for two selections. And one is a first baseman. a foreign import at that.
Yeah, you just reminded me of Murakami. Murakami's going to go to the White Sox. It's there's a lot of issues with him, or potential issues with, is he going to strike out? Can he hit high velocity stuff? But I got Ben Rice, and I had been thinking about, like, do I want to take a catcher and put Ben Rice at first? I'm going to take a stab at putting Ben Rice back at catcher, Murakami at first. Huge power potential. If it doesn't work out, I think I'm okay, because then I can go into the catching market. So that was one, in the later 200s, I'm definitely comfortable taking a stab at. My second pick, though, I got to figure out right now, Joey, while you talk.
Well, all right. Well, I will talk. You got 10 seconds. I can also pause it. You want me to pause this? You have more time or no?
No, you're okay.
I'm going to pause. I'm going to give you a pause it.
Sure.
Give you a little bit of a breather.
It's not
remind
paused.
Everybody to go ahead. There it is. And remind everybody to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hang out with us here, because Leading Off is going to be back before you know it, every single day. Talking baseball. We're going to have 1 million short form videos, 1 million mock drafts. Well, maybe not 1 million. It's slightly overstating, but we're going to have a lot. We're going to have a lot of content here on the channel this year. So again, if you're playing fantasy baseball, this is the place to be. We have a great team here in front of the camera, behind the scenes too. You're just finding the YouTube channel for the first time, welcome. Where have you been for the last 3 years?
Hello.
We are here and crushing things here, all things fantasy baseball. And right now, Welsh, I think, has enough time to make his selection here. So we're going to get back in here and hope that Welsh is ready to go. Some interesting guys still remaining on the board too. A lot of, again, reclamation projects, guys like Grayson Rodriguez, who I thought that was a very odd move this offseason for a team that needs pitching, to deal a guy who was their number one can't miss pitching prospect, and now he's an Anaheim Angel. I thought that was a little strange.
Yeah, I mean, they got done with it. The market didn't make sense for them to bring on Taylor Ward on a 1-year deal for the power for the years of Grayson Rodriguez, but I think they clearly had issues with his health.
Yeah.
And the Angels don't,
so
because it's the Angels. So.
Yeah. We all had issues with the health. Grayson Rodriguez.
Me talking.
But, for an organization like that, I mean, part of the health, you could also even track back to them, where it's like, hey, maybe they mismanaged some of his issues, and maybe there were, things that they could have done better or diagnosed better, because it seemed like oftentimes they were not on the same path or the same board, at least even. All right. So Brendan Donovan, the next selection for the Welsh here at 2001. Then Royce Lewis at 2002, Matt McClain, Basayo finally off the board, Quinn Priester, Ryan Walker, Mason Wynn. It is back to me here for another selection. Again, this is the time where I like to go a little BPA action here. I'm going to go ahead and take Mickey Moniak, a player that, I always kind of took a lot of shots at, but, he's playing in Colorado, coming off a season here where he had a 270 batting average at 24 homers, stole 9 bases. Playing in Colorado is not a bad thing. So perhaps he's finally figured things out and realizing his potential. More buyback guys too. Jason Dominguez still on the board. That's an interesting one as well. Just, it's amazing to see the difference a year makes here with things. Also, one of our favorites, Justin Steele, is expected to return at some point this season. After last year and how poorly everything went with the returns of Alcantara and returns of other players like that, where do you stand on guys like Garrett Cole, who are coming back in 2026?
Not interested. I'm not interested in Zach Wheeler. I'm not interested in Garrett Cole. Respectfully, I'm not interested in Justin Steele. I'm not interested in these guys that are going to be coming halfway through the season and drafting them and holding. I think the risk of what the person is when they come back is not worth drafting and holding for half of a season for any of those players. You could argue maybe Garrett Cole, but there are plenty of great guys. I mean, at this moment right now, you can see some great buyback pitching options if you want to do that thing again. Bailey Ober, Grayson Rodriguez, Brandon Pfaadt. It's a critical year for Brandon Pfaadt. Like Hurston Waldrep, Shane Smith. I mean, there are plenty. Your boy Jack Leiter. There are plenty of good options you can jump into. Your boy Leiter. Jack Leiter.
Never my boy. All right, I'm going to go.
I am going to find Jack in spring, and I am going to have him do a video just saying hi to you. I just want you to know.
I have no ill will towards him. Mickey Moniak, I just am tired of everybody telling me how much better he is than he is. That's all. I'm just bored of it. Just bored.
Mickey Moniak or Jack Leiter?
Jack Leiter I'm bored of.
Oh, okay. You said Mickey Moniak.
Mickey Moniak. Well, I was trying to recap the picks. Moniak to me, then Shane Baz, Colson Montgomery, Griffin Jacks, Ryan Nelson in the 20th round. Then 21, Reese Olson, Jack Caglione, who I wanted to take there, but he didn't make it to me. Kodai Senga, Noah Cameron. Then I took Andrew Vaughn, who had a nice finish of the year for the Milwaukee Brewers. Ryan Jeffers, JT Realmuto, Casey Mize, Uceda, Manzardo, Bubic, and then Welsh up for 2. We're almost in the home stretch here. Just about done.
Almost in the home stretch. Give me my boy Wilyer Abreu. Big power potential. They want to try to play him every day since we are drafting some bench spots here. And I think he goes off as one of my second util players. And then there's actually some really good outfielders to potentially buy back on. But I want to look at the pitching market. And imagine
this year, last year, if I told you could still go into the 20th round and Dominguez was still on the board.
I know. That was just
what a difference,
big
right?
failure. Big failure. I'm going to take the rankings are not going to like this, but I'm going to take Grant Taylor because I think Grant Taylor will be the, the closer for the White Sox.
Okay. Grant Taylor off the board now. So after Taylor, Ezekiel Tovar, then Helio Ramos, Brennan Fott, Otto Lopez at 2205, Sal Stewart, Colt Keith. And then looking around here right now, I'm going to go ahead and take some more depth here with Sal Frelick, who had a nice season last year. Frelick, all the Brewers. I'm very heavy Brew crew. 12 homers, 19 steals, 288 batting average for him. Like a little bit more power, but he's got some speed and some batting average. That should help me out along with Jacob Wilson there. He needs more pitching depth. That's definitely what I need here. So I gotta get on that right away. The rest of the selections here after Frelick, you have Alec Boehm, Jason Dominguez. There you go. Ryan O'Hearn, Reed Detmers, and then Carlos Correa to start the 23rd round. Justin Steele, Xander Bogaerts, Marcelo Mayer, and then I am up, and I need some more pitching help. So let's see what's available here. Joe Musgrove, Bailey Ober, coming off a terrible season. Chad Patrick was okay. Ryan Weathers, Chris Bassett. It is tricky there. Hurston Waldrop, who you mentioned before. You know what? Let's start 2026 in a different note. What do you say, Welsh?
All right. What are we doing?
How about Jack Leiter?
How about
2305? How
about
Let's start
Jack
things
Leiter?
Up. Let's do that. Let's do that. Little Jack Leiter.
This is a new year. Clip
it's
that.
A new year, new me.
You just took Jack Leiter in the very first mock draft of the season.
Sure. And it might be the only time I take him in a mock draft.
I think you should take him in every single one. I think you should get a jersey. Should get a jersey.
All honesty, I don't think it's a bad pick in the 23rd round.
It's not.
I don't think it is at all.
I don't
like the XFIP and the XERA and all the other stats there. The 386 is not something I'm buying into, but that's fine. All my exes live in Texas, and so does Jack Leiter.
Come with me, my X-Men.
Joe Musgrove, Brady Singer, then JJ Weatherhold. Ooh, look at this. A little dynasty action there. Caleb Durbin, Ronnie Enriquez, Hurston Waldrop, and then the Welsh at 23.
I don't think that's a dynasty.
No, I know.
Potential. Like he's a guy that he could break camp. I would not be shocked if he breaks camp.
Weatherhold.
All right. So I'm going to do two things here. I'm going to take this guy, and then I took Jordan Beck. Jordan Beck's 2020 potential. Really solid, quiet season. Colorado, I think he's going to be rocking the whole year, and he's got 2020 upside. JJ Weatherhold just went. This is risky, but Kevin McGonigal is worth it, and I'm going to take Kevin McGonigal. The reason he's risky, the Alex Bregman rumors out there are going to make it tough. The team has already talked about they're not going to have Zach McKinstry off the field. They don't want to have Colt Keith off the field. If they bring in Bregman, that is going to limit McGonigal positionally to probably like a second baseman. So at this moment, I love this pick because he played third out here in the Arizona Fall League. He can play other spots, but if they did sign Bregman, this one is going to hurt and it might stifle him having any potential of coming up in the first half. But Kevin McGonigal would be a top 100 pick if they anointed him a job today.
All right, next up here after McGonigal, Jake Berger, then Tristan Casas. Remember Tristan Casas? That's actually a nice pick down that late. Brian Bayo, Brian Abreu, Chad Patrick, then Luis Severino. I took TJ Friedel at 2408. Friedel, another guy who gives you a little bit of everything there. 14 homers, 12 steals, 260 batting average. I like that for the bench there. We got Riley O'Brien going next, then Max Muncy, Michael Wacha, Jose Barrios, Sean Manaea beginning the 25th round, Jonah Tong, 2502. So we'll see if Jonah Tong is part of any big trade that's floating out there. Then we had after that, Tanner Scott, Will Vest, who had a nice season, but obviously Kenley Jansen coming in there to Detroit. He's the favorite for saves now. Speaking of Detroit, I took Kerry Carpenter, who I think they should just let play every single day. I mean, I don't care what the numbers say. You need the power in that lineup. Let's just let it play out. How's somebody going to get better against left-handed pitching if he doesn't see more left-handed pitching? Like, let's give it a shot here, Detroit. Let's figure it out. Ronaldo Lopez, then Chris Bassett, then Jordan Leisure. Up next, Grayson Rodriguez, Shane Smith, Zach Eflin at 25-11. Welsh, your last two picks are what?
We are going to go pitching to end it out. I usually like to have the majority of my bench be pitching. I think there's a lot of people too, and sometimes it's different formats, but your last couple bench spots, you want them to be high upside guys that you could just turn out if it doesn't work, because a lot of these players that you're staring at, they're probably going to be available to you. So one of those guys I'm going to take is Andrew Painter, who looks like he is projected for the Phillies starting rotation out of camp, especially if Ranger is gone. So that's looking like a potentially solid bet here. And then I'm going to just tag in Will Warren. That was at the top of the suggestions on the Draft Wizard. I like that with the Yankees. They've made no moves. So this is a potentially, nice back end of the rotation spot. So guys that I can easily just turn back out if they don't work, but I think both have like really high upside, specifically Andrew Painter.
All right, so after Warren, Eduardo Rodriguez, Dalton Varsho, Ramon Laureano, Cade Cavalli, Nick Castellanos, Jeffrey Springs, and then I am going ahead and taking my final pick here. And let's see, let's continue on with the upside. Let's do that. Let's take Zebby Matthews, and then after Matthews, the draft is done. B+ for me on my roster. Welsh, you took a couple of the kids. So I'm not sure if that changes yours, but I'll take a B+ first game out here, first mock of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I got a B.
Okay.
It didn't like Chase Burns, Emmett Sheehan, and Carlos Estevez. Whatever. I could care less that it doesn't like that. It did say I was going to project in the top 4 of runs, stolen bases, hits, walks, and homers. So at least 3 of those are categories as far as fantasy goes of the hitting side. I think it's underrating my pitching. We don't have a bevy of experts in here so far in the system, but here's the funniest thing. Mm-hmm. The number 1 love of my roster, Chris Welsh.
Oh,
the number 1 hater,
me,
Joe Pisapia.
Yeah.
You hated Jacob deGrom and Schwellenbach.
I'll do you one better. You know who liked my draft more than anybody else? Mike Mayer.
Wow.
Mike Mayer liked I didn't think he liked anything. He has 3 children. I don't even know if he tolerates them, but he likes my draft. This is what the great thing is here. After you run the mock draft simulations too, you can go ahead and see all the breakdowns. It said if I drafted Corbin Carroll, how my team might have been different. It said the steals that I had there. I got a 2-round discount on Sal Frelick, a 4-round discount on TJ Friedel, and a 6-round discount on Kerry Carpenter. So I like that. It said that I reached for Hader and Fairbanks and Logan Henderson, but I'm at peace with that. I'd rather be a round or 2 early on a guy. And as Welsh said, if this was NFBC style and things like that, the closers go a little bit earlier. Yeah. Let's take a look at some of the breakdowns of the teams as well. Again, as Welsh said, it's a little early in the year for some of these, but my team here, Kyle Teel at catcher, Andrew Vaughn at first, Ketel Marte at second, Jacob Wilson at short. Then we have Jose Ramirez, Eugenio Suarez in the corner spot, Bryson Stott in the middle infield spot. We have James Wood, Cody Bellinger, Seiya Suzuki, Kwan, and Lyle. The pitching staff, Yamamoto, George Kirby, Nolan McLean, Lodolo, Bubba Chandler. I like that. Hader, Fairbanks, Jack Leiter, Logan Henderson, and then the bench is Carpenter, Frelick, Friedel, Moniak, and Zebby Matthews. What are your thoughts on this roster? I'd go to war with this. A pretty good team first shot out of the gate.
Yeah, you did. I mean, you did the interesting thing where you had like some average albatrosses and then you got high average guys. Like I was staring at this.
Jacob Wilson and stuff. Yeah.
I like the Jacob Wilson, Eugenio Suarez combo. I think that's cool. Ketel is a high average guy because then I wanted to pick on you about James Wood and Bellinger, but then you got, Kwan. So you did a pretty good job with that.
I balanced things out here.
I do think you're lacking in stolen bases by a decent margin. So I bet that probably ranks you pretty low.
I would agree. That's definitely not a strength of this team is the stolen bases.
I will tell you, I usually do not love your pitching staffs, but I like your starting side of your pitching staff. Your top like 5 pitchers, Yamamoto, Kirby, McLean, Bubba, and Lodolo, with 2 legit closers. Like I like that combination. I think you kind of then dumped out on depth. You didn't get a lot of depth after that.
I did. It's early in the year though.
Yeah, but like I like the top end of what you did. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. Not enough pitching depth on the bench, number 1. But I did that intentionally. I'm just trying to take value there for those players. And with a 5-person bench instead of 6, like a little bit different how. But again, it's early in the year. I like to wait till we get closer till we see the guys who are cracking rotations, the guys who are cracking skulls. Those are, spring training has a lot to do with those pitchers that you take.
A lot of skull cracking in baseball.
Cracking. Speaking of which, we've got Welsh's roster here, which I like here. We have Ben Rice. The Murakama selection there was very cagey, I like that a lot. Terang, Gunnar Henderson, Junior Caminero. God, I love Caminero. Fantastic player.
A great wheel pick. I think he's going to just be like, if someone doesn't want the elite power early on, I think there's some regression-y things with Caminero as well.
Splits that were a little troubling.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things.
Ballpark. But now that he goes back to the other one, that's the question. It's like, does the 40-something home run Junior Caminero go away when they move back to the old ballpark?
But I've started to talk myself into being more worried about Kurtz and his strikeout issue. Yeah, but because the strikeout issues that are floating. He plays in the baby minor league ballpark, which is great, but he had worrisome strikeout issues and an expected batting average almost 50 points lower than he hit. So it's like, are you more worried about that, or are you worried about Caminero, who made great contact, best bat speed, doesn't strike out at his level, going to a more pitcher-friendly environment? Like, which one is more worrisome? I'm leaning on Kurtz is more worrisome, so I love Caminero as a wheel pick.
All right, so Caminero, again, as a wheel pick, can't do much better than that. Barger, Brendan Donovan, then Byron Buxton, Marcy, Lawrence Butler, really disappointing last year. Kyle Schwarber, the opposite of disappointing last year. Wilyer Abreu, then Jacob deGrom, Spencer Schwellenbach, Chase Burns, Emmett Sheehan, Zach Gallen, Carlos Estevez, Cade Horton, Shane McClanahan. That's a big risk, but if it pays off, we'll see. Jeff Hoffman, then Jordan Beck, Kevin McGonigal, love that pick. Grant Taylor, Will Warren, Andrew Painter. So, like most Welsh teams, there's some prospects on there, but I feel pretty good about that roster too. I don't see where Gallen ends up. A lot of rumors that it could be Atlanta. And if so,
I don't think I'm too prospect heavy. I've got really one two, Andrew Painter and Kevin McGonigal. Kevin McGonigal, though, is more of the question. I guess you could throw Murakami in there. Yeah, there's a little bit of inherent risk. This is like, we haven't seen all the rosters constructed. There's a few things that could take me out of some certain players, but I think I got some good value. Little washy on my outfield. Byron Buxton, Marcy, and Butler. Like, that doesn't sound great, but production was really good. I love my pitchers. I think I got a deal on Gallen. I think Sheehan fell a little bit. I like this team in a lot of spots. This is unlike how I would in getting in my hate. And I also think the ranks, how it grades me, I'm fine with this in January. This is compare this to what these are going to start to look like in early March. Well, it'll be contrasted night and day.
And look, we got a lot of baseball to talk about leading up to that. We got a lot of shows that we're doing here. January is going to be packed, February even more. So make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcast to Fantasy Pros MLB, but also the YouTube channel. That's where the real money is, baby. Be with us on the YouTube channel here. All the short form videos, all the shorts, all of us wearing shorts on the long form videos. Lots of things happening here on the channel. And we're here for you every single week talking baseball, because guess what? It's January. It's a new fantasy baseball season. And there's a reason to be optimistic and get going. Lots of exciting, still free agents out there too. We're going to break it all down for you in the weeks ahead. So make sure you're with us at Fantasy Pros MLB. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on for the Welsh. Sick, but still rolling.
My Jordan game.
Your Jordan game. I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids. Happy baseball.